Welcome. Today I'm going to show you the 3 most powerful habits you can employ right now to make a significant impact on your health. These habits are simple, and I've learned them from Precision Nutrition, one of the largest nutrition coaching companies in the world. I'm a level 2 certified coach with them, and I use a program called Pro Coach to help my clients change their health, lose weight, and feel incredibly better about themselves and build self-confidence. Now, we start with these 3 basic habits because they're the foundation of good health. Now let's get into these. Number 1, the first habit that becomes most important for someone wanting to make a significant impact in their nutrition habits is to eat slowly. Why this is important? Eating slowly helps you not only digest your food better, but most importantly, it creates better awareness around food. It will help you establish your level of fullness so you can figure out how much food you actually need versus the food you think you want. And the reason we get into trouble with eating is we often eat fast. And the reason we eat fast is because we're often eating in distracted environments. You think about television, phones, reading, maybe we're eating with people and we're not really paying attention to what we're eating. So what eating slowly does as a habit is it helps you to slow down, become more aware of what you're eating, tasting your food, and it also helps with the digestion of your food. So how do you employ this habit? The simplest way to think about eating slowly is to get a baseline. So at your next meal, you might actually time how long it takes you to eat a meal. Don't look at the clock, but just have it running in the background. Start it when you start eating and then stop it when you finish. And see how long it takes you to eat that meal. You might be surprised at how quickly that is. Now your next step is to see how you can slow it down. And I'm going to give you some tools or some skills that you can incorporate to help you slow down. One is to put your cutlery down between bites. So you want to make sure that you're allowing yourself to chew your food completely. And one of the ways you do that is just put your cutlery down and chew each bite completely between. The second thing you can do is after you chew your bites, breathe. Take some nice big deep breaths before you go into that next bite. Next thing you can do is drink some water. Good idea is drinking some water before your meal, during, and after. That can really help with the digestion of your food and also be more aware of if you're actually hungry versus being thirsty, because even mild dehydration can mask as hunger symptoms. The next thing that you can do is just take your time after you're done your plate. Wait a minute or two. Let the feeling soak in of how you're feeling. Are you feeling full? Are you feeling comfortable? And that leads into our next habit of eating to 80% full. 80% full is this idea of eating till you're satisfied, not stuffed. So one of the things people often do if they're having trouble managing their body weight or their overall health is they tend to not have a real good sense of what their body needs to eat. So by eating slowly, it gives you a really good sense of eating just till you're comfortable and not stuffed. So another way to look at it is if you're going out after your meal, could you go for a walk and be comfortable? Could you dance and be comfortable? Could you do something light physical activity and still be comfortable after you're done eating? Then you know you're about 80% full. Another question to ask is, will I be okay for a couple of hours after I'm done eating before I need to eat again? If you're feeling that kind of level of fullness, you're probably in the right area. So again, just eating till comfortable, not stuffed. That's 80% full. And the last one, habit that's really impactful, is choosing one of these big 3 to focus on as far as your food's concerned. The first one is veggies times 5. So having 5 servings of veggies a day. Why this is important is because vegetables are super nutrient dense. So they've got a lot of nutrients packed in them. They tend to have fiber as well to help your level of fullness. And generally speaking, most of us don't eat enough of them. So setting that target of 5 servings of vegetables a day can be really helpful to tick those nutritional bases. The reason a lot of us tend to overeat or eat poor foods is because we're nutritionally deficient. So if we make sure that we're packing in those nutritionally dense food like vegetables, that will help our overall level of fullness and curb some of those snacking or processed food cravings we might have. So a serving of vegetables, if you take your fist and you just look at your fist here, 1 fist is 1 serving. So you want to have 5 of those a day. So try to spread them out throughout the day ideally. So you have a little bit with breakfast, a little bit of lunch, a little bit of supper. You might have some with some snacks in between. So going for that serving of vegetables at each meal, even 2 servings, you've got your vegetable content for the day. So setting that minimum bar of 5 servings of vegetables a day is ideal. The second one, having lean protein with every meal. So good sources of lean protein. You have your meats, like your pork, your beef, your chicken, your eggs, your tofu, your chickpeas, any of those type of products. There's many, many more, but those are just a few examples. Having a little bit of protein each meal. Protein is super important for cell and muscle growth and regeneration, for your skin, but it also helps with your level of fullness. Research very definitive on that having the right amount of protein as part of your nutrition can really help balance out your level of fullness and your blood sugar as well. So making sure that you have that lean protein at every meal. So what's the serving size for lean protein? Generally speaking, if you take the palm of your hand, 1 serving is essentially the palm of your hand. So you want to have 1 serving of lean protein at every meal. Even there's some really great protein powders if you're stuck, like putting some in a smoothie can be super simple as well. The number 3 is smart carb / healthy fat. So smart carb is looking at the type of carbohydrates you have, and smart carbs are those carbohydrates that essentially have 1 ingredient. So for example, a fruit is considered a smart carb. Okay, so apple, berries like raspberries, blackberries, blueberries, smart carb. Rice, okay, a sweet potato, a yam can be a smart carb, and then that's minus any sort of additives you have to that particular carb. But again, 1 ingredient carbohydrates are ideal. Next one is healthy fats. So for example, any of those super good olive oils, avocado oils, macadamia nut oils, any of those oils can be super good for healthy fat. Raw nuts is another great source of healthy fat. Avocado, super great source of healthy fat. So adding in at least a thumbful of healthy fat a day is ideal. That's a serving size for a healthy fat. Something like an avocado, I would probably put, again, as a 1 serving would essentially be like a fist size. So half an avocado, for example, would be 1 serving of that you could put in. So there's some ideas of how to mix that in. In the next video, I'm going to talk about actual portion sizes and how to set up your plate properly. So thanks for watching, and there are some 3 great tips: eating slowly, eating to 80% full, and choose one of the big 3. Now, when you're incorporating these habits, choose 1 habit at a time. Why this is important is because research shows us that the more you try to focus on at once, the less successful you're going to be at actually implementing that long term. In fact, research shows that if you focus on 1 thing at a time, chances are you're 80% or greater at being successful at implementing that over the long term. You add 2 things that you focus on at one time, that'll drop down to 35%. And then you add 3 or more things in there, 5% success rate of actually implementing it long term. So think about that as you're implementing one of these habits. to help you have a major impact on your health long term.